So Robbie, where's the line that says you're not doing your jobs? Hello everybody, how y'all doing? Sitting here reading up on this article here today. It's talking about Warzone. Listen to this article. I'm gonna explain to you in a minute what's going on with Warzone. Okay. It says here, Call of Duty Warzone streamer Symphony confront Reddit user over bot lobby accusation. A popular Call of Duty Warzone streamer confronts increased toxicity over accusations of cheating in the professional community. It says here, a recent Call of Duty Warzone rumor has been spreading regarding streamers and their lobby compositions. Players have started to build up an unwarranted level of toxicity towards the Call of Duty Warzone streaming community, as many viewers are accusing them of being in bots lobbies or reverse boosting. While both of these practices have been speculated on, there is still no hard evidence that any streamer can manipulate the system. Despite the Call of Duty Warzone community, members on Reddit have begun scrutinizing the streamer broadcast. Among the many is Symphony, who was one viewer claimed to got 23 kills and won a game against opponents who seemed lacking skills. In a recent stream, Symphony decided to look into where the sudden spike in the community toxicity originated from. Users Tofaz posted below threads of Call of Duty Warzone streamer. Symphony had a few choice of words for his fans. The Reddit user observes the enemies had slow reaction time, did not hear the steps on the ladder, and were almost killed in the first 2.23 shots of Symphony's DMR Mag 10 combo. Tofaz claimed that it's almost feel as if they were playing a completely different game despite having a fair average KD. With the recent surge in Call of Duty Warzone lobby hack involving a third-party app, speculation feels warranted among the games community regarding the difference in the lobby behavior. All right, let me break down Warzone for you real quick. You're looking at a serious gamer here, but I'm not a streamer. Okay, I'm a serious gamer. I love competition. East, west, north, south, northeast, southwest, down, bottoms. Let's do it. What's up with it? I'm very competitive. Win, lose, or draw. That's how I play video games. And I'll be laughing. Now, when it comes to Warzone, there's a thing called map manipulation. It does exist. Map manipulation. For instance, let's say you start over by where the airport is, where the storage area, where the boneyard is, and let's say you're going down the street and you come up on that little warehouse to your left before you even go through the tunnels to get up to the fire station. If you go inside that little warehouse, there usually be a loot box there, right? The next time you go there, it's not there. And if you go up the street under the tunnel and look into the dividers, sometimes you'll see loot boxes there, and sometimes you will not. If you get to the end of it, there should be one right by the wall before you get to that other little warehouse that's like slanted, and then there's a street that goes down to this big building where the ATV is, and then there's a house, and then there's a driveway. So there should be, sometimes when you go into that little warehouse, there's a loot box. There's a loot box in there, and then sometimes there's not. And then if you keep going up to the second tunnel before you get to the fire station, there should be a loot. There should be in between the dividers. There should be some loot boxes. There's sometimes they're there. So, and sometimes they're not. There is a thing called map manipulation. It does exist. I've experienced it for myself. Now, when sometimes you go in the fire station, sometimes you see a loot box right by that pillar that comes down to the ground. That pillar that comes down to the ground right behind the truck. It usually be a loot box there, and then sometimes you see like a medic like what you call them, like a care box where you can buy like a self-reviving kit. Sometimes you see that and the loot box in there. Sometimes they're there, and sometimes they're not. And if you take the ladder and go all the way up to the tower or the lookout position, there usually be a loot box, a big loot box, where you get a lot of cash from it. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And if you go across the house, across the street from the fire station, sometimes there's loot box in those buildings, and sometimes they're not. And then sometimes if you go in the driveway next to the house, next to the fire station, sometimes a loot box is there, and sometimes it's not. So what I'm saying is map manipulation does exist. And sometimes if you're on top of the dam and if you look down on the engine room, on the helipad where the helicopter is, sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. So Activision manipulate the map to the top streamers' advantage. Now if you play Plunder like I do, and if you look at the scoreboard, you're saying to yourself, how did you get 23 billion? You see the scoreboard with the so-called top leaders. You're saying to yourself, how did you get 23 billion? Because on a good day, when I really get into Warzone, the most I can try to bring home is about probably 800 to about 900,000 on a good day. Then on my lowest, it's like 400,000, somewhere around there. But me, I'm not me. I'm up there. I play with the best of them. So if you look, map manipulation in Warzone does exist where Activision manipulate the map to the top streamers' advantage. Okay, so and then the average player that comes in, they don't know what's going on. They think the game is just normal. But if you've been playing the game long, you will realize that you will see a change in pattern in the maps every time you play. So it does exist. They manipulate the map for the streamer's advantage. Now, Warzone. In Warzone, you got to maintain your speed, your tempo, your agility, your aggression. You got to have awareness and reaction. You have to have all those when you're playing Call of Duty. Warzone. Warzone is very competitive. It's very up tempo, fast paced. When you hit those bunkers, you got 20 seconds. You better know the bunker codes by heart. You got 15 to 20 seconds to run up in the bunkers and get all those loot up in there before other people show up. Okay, so you have to maintain your speed, your tempo, your agility, your aggression, everything in Warzone. It's that fast paced. And when you see some people play in groups of 3s and 4s to become this one force. And sometimes that's usually streamers. They play in groups of 3s and 4s where like 2 people be the decoy and then the other 2 do the shooting. You know, and then they try to like scare you. And like if you hear them like running all over the place, don't let that scare you. Don't let them scare you with that. Your attitude should be like, okay, bring it. Let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying? When you hear like, oh, an enemy UAV is overhead, oh, your attitude should be like, so what? Oh, or better yet, this one, an enemy team is hunting you. Your attitude should be like, really? Bring it. You know what I'm saying? Because they have weapons, you have weapons. Somebody got to win and somebody got to lose. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes when you kill your when you kill the top sometimes when you kill a player, they'll try to send an airstrike at you. That lets you know that was like a streamer and he was quote unquote supposed to be good. But then when he ran into a player like me, I eliminated him, and then he wanted to send an airstrike at me because I killed him. You know what I'm saying? So that's how Warzone is. It's very competitive, and it's very up tempo, fast pace, and speed, and speed is everything. Now, all money ain't good money in Warzone. What I mean by that is this: let's say you got about 600,000 on you, and just because you see the green smoke go up, and there might be a cash drop in your area, right? So the question you should be asking yourself is like, okay, is it really worth it to go over there to get that cash drop, or should I be happy with the 600,000 I got? Risk versus reward, and then you got to ask yourself again, if I go over there, what's the chance of me getting that cash with getting that cash drop in one piece versus running into people that saw the cash drop just like you did, and they were trying to make it over there. I'm saying, psychology plays a whole lot in Warzone. So all money and good money, all money and good money is like, okay, you got about 500 to 600,000 on you, but then there's the helicopter carrying 200,000. So the question is this: is it worth to take the helicopter out? And if you take it out, what's the chance of you getting that cash drop? And the question is, how many people are going to show up? Because there's plenty of people on the map, and some people are scavengers. They might not want to shoot down the helicopter, but they're waiting for you to shoot it down. So as soon as it drop, they can run over there, and then when you run over there and try to get it, and then when you run over there and try to get it, it's a shootout. You know what I'm saying? So all money ain't good money in Warzone, man, and psychology plays a lot. But you can't play Warzone with any kind of fear or intimidation or being scared or being nervous. You got to bring it to those players, okay? And people be giving streamers too much credit, like they're that good and they can't be touched. But when they run into players like me, who loves competition and who ain't scared of competition, they don't win 90% of the time. They don't. They might win 10%, but that 90% they don't win. So that's how Warzone is, man. But back to the map manipulation thing, it does exist, and Activision manipulates the map to certain streamers' advantage. It does exist because they move stuff all over the place. You jump out the plane and then you're thinking like, oh, the stuff is right here. Stuff is right here, and then when you get over there, it's not there. So they move stuff. They move it all over the place, man. Like for instance, I mean, the game is like that, man. So it does exist. So what they're talking about in this article, it does exist. They're trying to say there's no proof of it, but it does when they move stuff all over the place. Sometimes, like for instance, you might go into a bunker, and when you go into it, you might see a loot box before you even go down the stairs to get to the other stuff. The next time you go over there, that loot box ain't there anymore. Okay, that's called map manipulation. They manipulate the map. Like sometimes, like if you go like if you go like in that one little park, and then the helicopter is down in the parking lot, right? Sometimes you go over there. The ATV might be there. The ATV is there, but sometimes you go over there, the helicopter is not there. And then sometimes you go up to the dam, the helicopter is not there. And sometimes you go over to the news station, the helicopter is not there. So there's plenty. Or sometimes you go over to the army base, the helicopter is not there. So Activision does manipulate the map to certain streamers' advantage, and that is facts. And then you got the hackers that like to hack the game, and then they are streamers too, and then they try to make it worse for you. Like if you jump out the plane, they start shooting at you. You ain't even like close to the ground or halfway close, but they have an advantage of hitting you in the air, and then you can't fire back. So yeah, the map manipulation in Call of Duty does exist. I have witnessed it. It does exist. So anybody who lives in denial and keeps thinking, well, it doesn't exist. Manipulating the map meaning that you move stuff all over the place. The stuff that used to be in the original spot, it might be there for the first game that you play, but the next time you go back, it's not there. You know what I'm saying? So it does exist. And when I see the scoreboard, like I said, when I see the scoreboard on Plunder, and I'm like, how did you get 23 billion or 17 billion? Because the most you can make, if you look at the screen, it shows like $1 million, right? So how did you get 23 billion that fast? And the game ain't even been out almost a year, almost 2 years. So some type of cheating is going on with the reward system and who on how which players get rewarded and stuff like that. So yeah, it does exist, man. It's not fake. You know, it is not fake. And uh, the Reddit user was right for confronting Symphony, because I mean, he probably was doing it. You know, he probably was doing it. You know, it ain't about reaction speed and all that. I remember when they had that little Halloween map. I had the heartbeat monitor. I had the heartbeat monitor. I was right by the warehouse in front of the gas station. I had the heartbeat monitor, and I was looking for people. I was looking for people, and the heartbeat monitor showed nothing on it. But good thing I had the footprint track. Good thing I had the footprint tracker on. The people, they were right in front of me all along, but the heartbeat monitor didn't pick them up. Facts. So that stuff do exist in Warzone. A lot of those streamers are cheaters. They are. You know, they're not as good as you think they are. They're not that good, because I've eliminated a lot of them. You know, they ran into me. They be running three or four deep, and then they try to run all over the place with all that running they do. Especially if you're like, say, like in the news station or in the superstore, or you're in that one of those high-rise buildings. They try to do all that running all over the place to throw you off. And then you being the gamer, you got to pick up on it. Like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to confuse me with this running. But once you pull out your you figure that whole situation out, you can beat those guys. They're not as good as you think they are, man. You know, some people be giving these streamers too much credit. They're not that good, man. So they do cheat in that game, and map manipulation does exist in Warzone, because I myself have seen it, and I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is facts. You know, it's not made up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you go, like I said, sometimes stuff be moved all over the place, man. Sometimes like you go into a house and there's no loot box. There's no loot box. It used to be there, but now it's gone. Sometimes you go to the army base, and stuff be in a certain spot, and then when you go over there, it's not there. They manipulate the map a lot. They do. You know, so when people say that's when the article says when this article says, it says, where does it say? It says player started to build up unwarranted level of toxicity towards the Call of Duty Warzone streaming community, as many viewers are accusing them of being in hot. No, wait a minute. As many viewers accusing them of being in bot lobbies or reverse boosting, while both of these practices have been speculated on. There is still no hard evidence that any streamer has manipulated the system. No, they do. They do manipulate the system. They just move stuff all over the place, and they probably move all the cash box in one spot. And then sometimes you're in an area like, you mean to tell me there's no loot box or anything around here? It does exist, because I myself have experienced it. Facts. It do. You know what I'm saying? So when people are complaining, they're not complaining just to be complaining. They're complaining because they've seen it happen time and time over again, and now they're bringing it up. It do exist, man. It's the same thing like when EA tried to get by with that loot box nonsense, and then players pick up on it. That wasn't fake. The situation in Warzone about map manipulation does exist, to where you're sitting here like, wait a minute, on a good day, I can only bring home about 800 to 900,000, close to 1 million. But yet you got 18 billion. Something is wrong here. So it's either they're taking all the orange box, because the difference between the orange box and the gray box, with the orange box is you get more money out of them than the regular gray boxes. So something is happening to where the streamers are like moving all the orange boxes in certain spots, and then they collect them, and then the normal player that comes on Warzone, they don't know what's going on. They think this is normal. They might see 1 or 2 orange boxes, and then 90% of them is in one certain location. You know what I'm saying? So Map manipulation on Warzone does exist, man, and I've seen it for myself, and I'm not making this up. It do exist, okay? And I'm even last night when I was on it happens, man. It happens. So Activision knows about this map manipulation. They can sit there, live in denial all they want, but they can't tell me that they can't tell me, the player that's been playing Warzone for a while, that map manipulation don't exist. It do exist, and it's in Warzone, but map manipulation only benefits the streamers, the top streamers that plays Warzone. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box so you can look at this article. But nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Borg, dark side. I'm gone. Peace. Do, 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 do.